Hello and welcome to the 1981 Digital Video Blog. Today, we're switching stuff up a little bit. We're going to dive on into some photos on the computer that I took on my iPhone 11 Pro versus my Sony a7 III, which has been my professional working camera for the last 3 years. And to answer the question, do you need to be a professional photographer with professional photo equipment to take successful images for your business? So let's dive in. So a little bit of backstory about me. I've been a professional photographer since I was 17 years old. My dad was a photographer, and so there was always a camera around in the house growing up. And it just kind of led me to picking up a camera at 16 or 17. And one of the things I love about photography now is the level of accessibility that there is. The pricing of cameras has just gone down astronomically, and not to mention the phone camera is just exponentially better than ever before. And it really does take some wonderful images. So today we're going to dive on in to comparing a few of those images and what you can really do with just something as simple as a smartphone. So let's dive in. So we are in Adobe Lightroom right now, and I went ahead and edited all of the photos that you'll see that were taken on the iPhone in the native Photos app, and then just kind of like airdropped them over to the computer so that we could have them all in front of us. And then the photos taken on the Sony camera were all edited in Adobe Lightroom. And I try to get them as similarly as possible, so we kept it pretty simple on the adjustments generally. But yeah, so let's dive on in. So as you'll see here, the photo on the left side is a pretty typical like product shot. Basically, it's a simple product on a blank backdrop. Easy does it, basically. If we were thinking about this as a normal product shot, what better than to take a picture of the cover and kind of start there. And as you can see, these both look fine. They're visually very boring images, but largely they get the job done. We've got some good clarity here. You can kind of still see the texture of the book on the iPhone. Let me dive in over here. You have more of that you can see because it's just a higher resolution sensor, but effectively the image does the same thing. You've got just a book on a white backdrop. So how could we take that just one step kind of further, right? So here we've got a book on the on the white backdrop with something simple like a little credit card light. I keep these things around all the time because they are so handy. This one's actually magnetic, so it's super awesome to have. And yeah, we're just adding one simple level of like interest here. Still very simple image. We've got book on backdrop with a little bit of a light. I went ahead and used like an orange light, so it's kind of similar to the cover of the book. But again, very simple, and effectively does the same thing. So next, I like to think about photography as like, how can I give this context, basically? So we've got a book sitting on a bookshelf, basically. And I wanted to add just like some simple, like natural elements to it. This is like just genuinely sitting in my living room right now. And so yeah, we've got a little lamp sitting next to it, kind of cute. Some little houses from Target that decorate the bookshelf. And yeah, just simple. We're showing off the important elements of the book, though. We see Annie Leibovitz at work. And again, we've just added a hair of context. And again, we shot in portrait mode, so you get this nice natural kind of like fall off happening with the depth of field. This breaks down a little bit on this image. You kind of lose the back half of the last name. But on this one, it's a little bit clearer. But effectively, these photos both, like, they look the same. They're very similar, and I don't know that this photo over here is more effective than this photo at 3 times the cost of the image, basically. The only other place that this gets weird on was shooting with the iPhone versus the Sony was that there's these like light streaks that happen just from the glass inside of the phone, the way that the light kind of goes through that glass element. Sometimes you can get these like weird kind of flaring glare things. I could have photoshopped this out in like 2 seconds. That seemed unfair though, in lieu of the idea of this. So we left it. Again, I don't think it's all that distracting. It just is. It's just there. Again, we lose some of the texture on the side of the book here versus the Sony, but you can still kind of get the effect that it has this textured cover to it. So we're adding another layer here again. So more of those kind of natural, organic, contextual elements of the photography. Again, effectively, these photos do the same thing. They're a book sitting on a table and showing the cover, and we've added just some nice like organic elements. So we've got a pair of glasses, we've got a plant sitting here. And I will say, my iPhone is not the newest iPhone, and so some, like the newer ones can do more of this like depth of field thing happening here. This one didn't do as much, but still does the same thing for the image. Again, we just are getting some nice context here, and it's an inviting photo. I want to pick that book up right now and read it. So we're at the last photo here, and one more time, I really wanted to hone in on this idea of context. So this book is very much a coffee table book, and so that's what we did. We shot it just on my living room coffee table, and I really loved the light coming in, and I really wanted to kind of use it to add just some visual interest to the photo. And so that's what I did. I positioned it in the middle of the table, had this very nice kind of shadow that's created halfway through the image, and I really love the harshness right here too. And both of the photos held up very well with it. I was honestly pretty impressed. You've got a little bit of color difference here. The iPhone wanted to soften the shadows a little bit. You can see in here, it's a little bit lighter than like right here, which is super dark and very, they're like poles basically. But overall, very, very impressed here. And the iPhone honestly held up this whole time. Let's take a look at those just one more time, kind of back to back. So to wrap all this up, you decide if you feel like you need the expensive camera, or if the iPhone is just gonna do enough for what you need. Personally, I think most people can get away with just using their smartphone. I was honestly impressed when I started shooting this, how well the iPhone worked and how good portrait mode was. It's come just like light years, and it just keeps getting better every single year. Just some things to keep in mind when you are shooting with your phone, and just with images in general for your business. Use natural light when available. It's free, it looks great, and I tend to try and shoot with like the window kind of coming in the side. Helps just give some direction to the photo. And again, it looks great every time. Second would be to use the portrait mode or the comparable shooting mode on your respective smartphone. It just gets better every year. I was so blown away getting to kind of use it consistently. And yeah, give it a go and just kind of see what works for you and what doesn't. Third would be to give your photos context. If you were selling baseball bats, you'd probably want to have a photo of the baseball bat outside, in a dugout or being swung or whatever that may be. So give your photos context, just to help, again, kind of show the image in its natural habitat. And lastly, get creative. You never know what's gonna work until you try it. And that's half the fun of the art, is just getting to experiment until you get what you like. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of the Video Blog. As always, if you have any questions or want to see us cover anything additional, please leave those in the comments below, and have a blessed rest of your week.